that will match what you want to get as a mortgage. Now, SA302s, a lot of banks will ask for 3 years. If you've been self-employed for up to 3 years, they will want to see the last 3 year SA302. If you've been employed for less than 3 years, they would like to see the 2 year, for as long as you've been self-employed, they want to see the SA302s. But then there are lenders who will consider what you have declared just in the last year. So even though the last 2 or 3 years income have been low, but the last year income is good enough for you to get a mortgage, they can consider that. But then if they jump between the last 2 years and last year's declaration is significant, they would want an explanation for that. It's an explanation. So if you have a valid explanation for that, then that's fine. If you don't, they will use an average of those 2 years and use that to judge your affordability. So if you've declared 50,000 in income last year, and 2 years ago it was 20,000 pounds you declared in income, if you cannot explain why it jumped from 20 to 50,000 pounds within a year, then they will use an average of the last 2 years and just use the 35,000 pounds as your income. Again, there are lenders who do not care about that. They would want to use the last year's income you have declared, as long as it is declared to the HMRC, and they will use it. And then if you've been self-employed for just 1 year, you can still get a mortgage. There are lenders who are happy to look at just 1 year self-employment record, and they will give you a mortgage based on that. So a lot of lenders are realizing that the way we work change, and circumstances do change, and they are adjusting to it. Bank statements, your last 3 months bank statements. Now, I had the privilege of speaking to another client of mine last week. A couple of days ago, and he's self-employed and he wants to arrange a mortgage. So we were talking, and I told him about the bank statements, and we need to see his bank statements. And I told him, be careful of what has been going on in that bank statement that you want to use for mortgage. Things like gambling, or you've been buying stuff from adult stores, things that you have been spending money on, because the banks will look at your bank statements and they can picture your lifestyle from your bank statements. So when we got talking, he now told me, you mean like all these £5 betting that I've been doing? I said, even £1 betting on your bank statement, because if you can bet £1, you can bet 1,000. So it's gambling. It will take it that you are a very, very high risk individual. It tells a lot about your lifestyle. To them, you're high risk because you can bet away your income and there will be no money to pay the mortgage again. So if you want to use your bank statements for mortgage, be careful the kind of transactions that go on the bank statements, because it's a reflection of your lifestyle. It's more useful for you to build up a bank statement, a bank account that you use for the things that are normal, like your household outgoings and all that. Yeah, that's okay. But the moment things like gambling and adult store purchases and all that are showing up, some banks they're not comfortable with that. There are some banks that don't mind, but the interest rate will still reflect how much of a risk you pose to them. But it's better safe than sorry. Yeah. The next slide, that's the last one. So your residence, you've got to have indefinite leave to remain in the UK if you want to arrange a mortgage. Yeah, you've got to have indefinite leave to remain in the UK. No bank accepts anything less than that anymore. It's a very, very tough ask. There are times they will look at your visa or your leave to remain, and if you've got like 3-4 years, they can give you 2-year fixed, because after 2 years you have to remortgage and all that, and after that 2 years they can review it again. But now if you haven't got indefinite leave to remain, it's difficult, or you have a British passport or European passport. Your proof of deposits, we have to see your proof of deposit. Where is it? Is it in the savings account or anywhere else? Now, gifted deposits, another one that we have come across. Some of the mortgages I've done for my clients, one that I did recently, with one of the lenders, the uncle gifted him a deposit, and the lender was comfortable with that. But then we couldn't get the amount he wanted to borrow from that lender. So we had to look for another lender who would give him the amount that we were looking for. And then that lender was happy to take gifted deposits, but their definition of relatives did not include uncles. So they said it has to be a close family relative, so an uncle is not close enough for them. So they wanted father, mother, brother, sister, brother-in-law, father, mother, brother, sister, sorry, not even brother-in-law. So he had to, that deposit had to come from somebody else that is closer within that time. And that qualified them for that mortgage, and we're able to get the mortgage for them. Stamp duty. You have to be aware that there's stamp duty, but for the first £300,000 property, that's the first time by no stamp duty. If it's outside of London, the first £500,000 in London, no stamp duty. Be aware of professional services that you will need to pay for. I charge money. So you pay for my services as a mortgage broker, you pay for solicitors, valuations. A lot of lenders now give free valuations to just entice